Hey everybody, here to talk a little bit about the newest update that has been announced for TF2. This one I think came out kind of out of the blue for me. I was expecting the next update to be the competitive update, but they're releasing this one first, which is kind of cool. So this update basically adds a lot of cosmetics changes as well as a lot of balance changes. And I'm going to go over the cosmetic changes, but hopefully you guys know by now, if you've been watching me enough, that I don't really give a shit about cosmetics in TF2. Like, they're nice, but balance changes are way more important in my opinion. Anyway, I've already heard this described a lot as the Team Fortress Global Offensive update or something of that nature, because a lot of the cosmetic changes are basically similar to CS:GO. So first off, the main thing is they're introducing like what are called campaigns, and this is the first one's the GunMettle campaign. I'm assuming they're going to add more if this turns out well at all. So it's kind of similar to CS:GO if you've ever played that, where you buy essentially like a challenge coin. So what does it say here? So she'll give you contracts and stuff. So yeah, you have a campaign coin is what it's called. So you get a campaign coin. So you buy this for $6.99, $5.99, excuse me, and that unlocks these contracts for you that you can do, and you essentially do the contracts. And so here's an example. You know, you'll play as a spy, score points, get a kill, backstab. Apparently that's an advanced thing. I think, but I'm pretty sure this is just kind of silly. Anyway, so you're assigned challenges. You'll be assigned 2 skill-based contracts each week for the length of the GunMettle campaign. Cool. And when you do that, you get bonus points. And whenever you do that, you get special items essentially, and these are these things. And depending on what you do, you'll get better things as far as I understand it. But anyway, you unlock these cool weapons, and basically as it is now is the weapons now have like skins to them. Like, it's no longer just a flamethrower. You'll get a flamethrower that's painted like this one. And similar to CS:GO, there's different rarities of the painting, and it's illustrated here. You can have the factory new, which is like super pristine and all that, or you could have really fucked up paint. So yeah, kind of have some variety there. Is this a good deal? I mean, it depends. If you can get 2 weapons a week, and I think this is going to last for a few months. Did they announce how long it's going to last for? But let's say this lasts for like 3 months, and you get 2 weapons a week, and they're like this. Is that worth it? I mean, you're kind of just getting weapon skins and stuff. I don't know. If it's worth it to you, sure, cool. I think especially for newer players, it's going to be really worth it if they want to do that. But I know I wish this was released when I was kind of starting out. Now it's kind of like I don't really care so much about the cosmetic stuff. But anyway, so a portion of the sales goes to the community map campaign they're working on. They want to introduce more community maps, and we'll get to that. This update introduced quite a few new maps. So these are just showing off some of the skins you can get. So I mean, like, what looks cool? This one kind of looks pretty cool to me. This sniper rifle looks pretty cool. A lot of them, these all kind of look very basic so far. They're kind of just like, you have the squiggle ones and stuff, and nothing so far looks like crazy out there. But I mean, they look pretty cool, and it'll be nice to have some variety. But yeah. And then you can also get like stat tracking ones. So you can get a strange capability with a stat module, and this is kind of like stat track things in CS:GO. This will keep track of certain stats, like how many kills you get. You can also get unusual weapons, which, you know, like this one looks like it has a flaming effect on the barrel. Looks pretty sweet. I can only imagine those are going to be extremely inflated in price. My suggestion is if you do get an unusual one, unless you really want to keep it, try and sell it off ASAP, because I can guarantee you they're going to be grossly inflated in price. And here's he's just checking them, so you can check them. But yeah, we'll see how they look. Anyway, that's kind of all the cosmetic stuff. You basically just have these different weapon skins you can unlock. And, I don't know if you're into that sort of thing. It sounds pretty cool. I don't really care so much because, again, it doesn't add any extra functionality. It's just for looks. But again, there's still a lot of details that are left out. You know, we'll get into that more. I'm going to probably make a follow-up video once the update actually comes out and discuss more in detail what I think about it. This is kind of just a lot of speculation because they haven't exactly released everything that they, this doesn't contain all the information they could give. So on to the part of the update that I think is vastly, vastly more important. So, a couple things. They've made a new map called Powerhouse. And this is a 3 control point map. So usually when you have control point maps like something like Badlands or Snakewater Process, to name a few, those all have 5 capture points. This one will only have 3. So that could be a little interesting. Kind of a nice smaller map. I'm anticipating that the reason they released this is for competitive, kind of, because if you have like a small team of like 6v6, I feel like not a lot of new players on a 5 CP map will get overwhelmed because the map's pretty big. But on a smaller map like this, it might not be so bad. Maybe that's just some speculation. I don't know. I wish they would include more screenshots than just this kind of tailored one. This doesn't really tell you much of anything. I mean, you can kind of understand that it's power-based. It's called Powerhouse, and there's a power sign there. But beyond that, it doesn't seem to you can't really infer that much from here. And then they released 3 community maps. First one is Borneo. I've actually played on this one a lot because it's been used in UGC Highlander a lot. Definitely a very fun payload map, very long. How it's going to work for public gameplay, I think a lot of times what's going to happen is the offense is just not going to be good enough to break through the defense. There are a couple good, really defensive holds on there that are extremely difficult to break. So, and then we have Suijin. I'm not sure how you say that in Japanese, but yeah, cool, nice little. It definitely is very colorful for a map. I mean, you compare that map to like this one, definitely very colorful, very cool architecture that's not seen in a lot of different maps. So I'm kind of excited to play it. I haven't played it very much. King of the Hill map, Actually, I think I have played this, but I think it was under a different name. Because like this view reminds me of a different map I played a long time ago. We'll see though. Anyway, looks interesting. Another King of the Hill map, pretty good because there really is not that many. So it's nice to have. And then of course you have your attack defend map. This one I have played. I remember this one. This one is I have not played it for a really long time. I mostly remember this part of it. I remember this part a lot. But yeah. If I recall, and I also remember this as well. Me playing it, I remember it was pretty fun. It was so long ago, but I played it. I'm sure a lot has changed since I played it last, and we'll see how it works out. A lot of people made this map. That's a lot of names. But anyway, 3 new maps, and then the 3 new community made ones, and then the official one. That's pretty good. I mean, you consider TF2. I don't think they've released that many maps in like 3 years, and then all of a sudden we're getting all of these all at the same time. It's crazy. Anyway. So anyway, there's another little feature. You can pick up other people's weapons if you're the right class. Like if you're a soldier and you see somebody else's weapon on the ground, you can pick it up. So as a change now, enemies, the weapons won't give ammo. What enemies will do, you'll kill them, they'll drop a half metal kit. It doesn't mention that here, but that's I remember reading that somewhere. And so enemies will drop a half ammo kit. They'll give you half your ammo or 100 metal, and then the weapon will just kind of be sitting there. You can pick it up if you want, if you think it looks cool or whatever. Kind of could be interesting. We'll see. Kind of like CS:GO. And a bunch more taunts. You have this kicking thing, like the Russian dancey thing. This one's pretty funny. The spy goes into a box. Obviously, Metal Gear Solid. And then the heavy doing crazy poses, which is pretty sweet. And then we have a bunch of Powerhouse achievements. Win a round in which the enemy team has attempted to capture a final control point. Kill 5 enemies while they're in the water, so there seems to be water on here. I guess the tag they had was like hydroelectric something, so there's going to be water in here, which is kind of cool. There needs to be more maps with water, really. There aren't a lot with water. Kill 15 enemies while they're capturing a point. Win 142 rounds. Why 142? The number's significant for some reason, but I can't really think of why. And then power chip. Capture the final control point within 15 seconds of your team capturing the previous control point. Pretty similar to an achievement on Foundry, if I recall. Okay. This is the part that I care about coming up. All the other parts are cool. I mean, maps are great. Weapon skins are like, okay. I'm kind of indifferent. I understand a lot of people care a lot about them. And if I get a good one, I'll like it for sure, but I'm not that invested in it. But this is the stuff that, to me, this is the stuff that Valve has not been doing. They have not been trying to balance their game very well, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, when's the last time, like, we see balance changes, and a lot of times they're misinformed. Like, you think of the sticky nerf they did to demos, just a completely, like, sweeping nerf when that came out. Just absolutely ruined demo. Like, I wouldn't hit a Pyro at point blank with 4 stickies and he wouldn't be dead, because that's how bad they nerfed it. Because the stickies would only do, like, 40 damage. And so I'd hit a Pyro 4 times, he'd still have, like, 10, 15 health left, and he kills me. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, I mean, I think it's pretty clear by now that Valve does not understand their game any longer. They don't understand how it works, and I think the reasons for that, why that is because I think that they've become very separated from the high-level competitive community. And as a result, they balance around pub mentality and what they see on the forums, basically what the loudest majority is saying, which is not always right, and in fact, is usually not right, like ever. The majority is usually not right about specific issues because they lack the knowledge required to make the decisions. It's usually a small subset of specialists that can make the best decisions. But, you know, whatever, we can get into all sorts of crazy shit like whatever Arrow's theorem and crap. And all sorts of crazy crap I'm not going to get into. But they make a lot of dumb changes based on, like, people who play exclusively pubs and really aren't that good at TF2. Not that you have to be good to give your opinion, it's just your opinion is probably less valid because you lack game knowledge to back it up. I mean, you consider somebody like me, you know, I can tell you just off the top of my head, instantaneously, fully charged headshot with Machina, 517 damage. And, you know, a lot of people can't do that. And so, I mean, is it? I'm doubting myself now. Is it 517? Because I'm not going to worry about it. I'm pretty sure it's 517. It might be like 527, but I doubt it. That doesn't make sense to me now that I think about it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Valve has made a lot of dumb decisions when it comes to nerfs, basically, because they're becoming less invested in the higher levels of play. And that's one thing I'm really, that's probably honestly the thing I'm most excited about with competitive, is I'm most excited that I hope Valve actually takes notice of what happens in competitive, and they actually notice that, okay, it's obvious that this weapon just never gets fucking used. We should probably buff it. Oh, it's obvious that this weapon, like, gets used all the time. We should maybe consider nerfing it somehow. And more than that, I hope they realize how they should nerf it. You know, what exactly makes something overpowered? Why was the Enforcer overpowered when it was first released? Well, the answer is because it was given to a class that should not be combat capable because of the spy. I mean, he has too many other utilities, things like backstabbing and cloak. He shouldn't be able to just front up shoot somebody very easily. I mean, and then he comes along with this new gun and is able to two-shot, you know, 125 HP classes. He can actually, when it first came out, he could two-shot medics at point blank. Like, just ridiculous. By the way, damage spread has been disabled by default. Thank God, because fuck damage spread. But yeah. Anyway, we'll get into these changes. I'm not going to go too crazy into whatever. There are some changes in here that I think are very interesting, and it'll take a little while to see how they play out. There are some that I think are automatically very good, and I very much appreciate them, and there are some that are just, frankly, the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Not entirely true, but they're pretty fucking dumb. Specifically one that I'll say when I get to it. So here we go. This is the weapon exchange and pickup thing. Yeah, this is where they talk about it. Kill players, drop a medium ammo box, but the weapons no longer give ammo, right? That's what I was talking about. You can inspect targets or items and blah, blah. And when you do it, while having a decorated weapon deployed with no target out of the crosshair and then pressing the button, inspecting an uninterruptible view battle animation in place. You can examine your weapons. Damage spread off. Auto reload is on by default, but if you already have it off, it's not on. And then they updated weapon descriptions to detail weapons features, so which is good because a lot of times weapons don't say all that they do, which is frustrating for new players. Because I mean, you kind of just it's one of those things where it's like there's no way you can know unless somebody told you or you figured it out yourself. Anyway, Spy got a lot of interesting changes, so let's go through this. Spy no longer smacks himself across the face while you're loading a revolver. I like that. They changed his reload animation. This was especially annoying with the Ambassador. The Ambassador is a very big gun, and so when you would reload, the barrel of your gun would actually cross over your crosshair, and it made it very difficult to see. So I'm glad they did that. So this as well, if you're already disguised and you switch to a new disguise, it only takes half a second to disguise. That's pretty crazy fast. It used to take 2 seconds. So I'm thinking that that's going to make disguising a little more... It's going to make it easier to, like, fool people. Because, you know, you can go around a corner as, like, a Demoman and then come back as a scout, like, almost immediately. And just, you can try and mess with people a little bit more. I think that's interesting. And I don't think it's, like, super overpowered or anything. In the disguise menu, you can press reload to toggle the disguise team. I mean, I set it to F for me to switch disguises, like to switch to team. I think a lot of, especially new players, don't even know you can switch teams. So I'm glad that that's there, and I hope it's labeled so it's easier to find, especially for new players. While invisible, Spy receives 20% less damage from all damage sources. That's pretty insane. Pretty cool. Makes Spy a lot more durable, and it's like you don't have to just have the dead ringer now to be able to survive some things, you know. Because like before, a lot of times if you go into there's a Spy with a regular invis watch, like you're just dead. But now you can cloak and hope that that damage reduction will carry you long enough that you will get out alive. Also, while invisible, the Spy has reduced timer on debuffs. They didn't give a specific amount, but you know that's cool because it's really annoying when you get like lit on fire and you're on fire for 15 seconds as Spy. You know, make it cut out after 7 seconds or something. It's kind of, I think, cool, and I don't think it's super OP again. I think that makes it, because I think Spies already have it pretty tough. And in my previous vid, when I was talking about competitive, I kind of picked on the Spy, saying the Spy is pretty shitty competitive, and I think I still stand by that, but I'm glad they're buffing him, because I think he is one of the weaker classes in the game. I think Pyro is too. I think Pyro could use a couple more buffs. But I'm glad they're buffing Spy. And I think it's not buffing Spy in points where he's overpowered as well. But I mean, this is speculation still. Maybe later on I'll feel this is bullshit. But, you know, for right now, I don't think it's too crazy. So decrease the damage penalty on sentries sapped by the Spy from -66 to 33%. So shooting a sentry the Spy's sapped with revolvers is now more effective. So when you sap something, basically, when you sap a sentry, now it takes more damage, basically. Which is pretty cool. So they changed the Spycicle. So, before you used to be immune to all fire for 3 seconds. Now you're immune to fire for 1 second, but you're immune to the afterburn for 7 seconds. So after 1 second, you'll take the contact damage from the fire, but you won't get afterburn until after 7 seconds. So this is good because it lets you get away easier. I think this is a buff. But I mean, there are some situations where it'll be worse, but I think there's more situations where it will be better. So it removed silent killing with the Spycicle. I don't see that being a big issue. Honestly, it was very loud anyway. With the freezing noise, it was pretty loud. I mean, if you had a headset on, you could probably hear it. Assuming you weren't like blaring music or anything. The recharge timer on it can be reduced by picking up ammo boxes. This I'm not so sure about. It depends on how much it gets changed. But I might disagree with this. I think the reason the Spycicle is balanced is that if you fuck up, if you fuck up and a Pyro catches you, it's kind of a get out of jail free card. But as not necessarily out of free, I mean you can still get caught, but as a result of you using that to get out of jail free, you know, you're kind of at a disadvantage. You don't have your knife, but now you get your knife back very easily, it seems like. So I don't know how much I like that. Anyway, Enforcer got kind of reversed. Before it used to do 20%. It used to have the damage bonus while undisguised. Now it's a damage bonus while disguised. So it's kind of more of a gun. I think that makes more sense, honestly, with what I envisioned the design of, because it's like kind of a short barrel gun, you know, meant to be concealed. I think that makes more sense. You know, you come out disguised, smack somebody for a lot of damage, and then hopefully the next shot just kills them outright, or the first shot just kills them outright. I think that's probably a nerf. It will require you to play differently with the Enforcer. Overall, I think it might be a slight nerf, but who can say at this point? I think it's a not major change. Big Earner, you get a 3-second speed gain on kill. I assume something similar to the Conjurer. Pretty cool. Kunai got buffed. You lose less health, 10% less health. So you have and you also gain minimum health of 75. Before, it was based on how much damage you did. Now you'll always get 75 at least. And now it increases the overheal as well. So Kunai is buffed, basically straight up, which I think is good because it was frankly one of the shittiest knives easily beforehand. You were just way too squishy with it. Now I think it's a little bit better. I mean, going from 60 to 70 health is not a big deal. You still die to a lot of things in one shot. I'm not sure how much of a difference it's going to make. Cloak and Dagger. Now you can pick up ammo kits for Cloak Meter while visible. But it's less than the regular Invis Watch. So this is just a buff to the Cloak and Dagger, which I like. I think the Cloak and Dagger is very underrated. Now it'll behave kind of more like... It's kind of like a shitty Invis Watch, but you can stay invisible forever, kind of. So it's like, it's better for maps where you think you're going to have to lurk around a bit. So I think it's better now. The Dead Ringer got changed pretty harsh, not like harshly, but it got changed a lot. So how it works now is once you feign death with the Dead Ringer, you instantly lose 50% of your cloak, and then basically the other 50% starts draining, and they've balanced it such that that 50% is still the 8 seconds that the original watch had. So really, just from that, it's like the watch is no really different. The cloak regen rate was reduced. When the feign death is triggered, the spy receives a 3-second speed boost. Very good, because you can dead ring and then just get the fuck out of there. So the initial attack that triggers the death has its damage reduced by 50%. So that's a nerf, actually, because it used to be reduced by 90%. Damage resistance on the feign death scales over time. Oh, they really nerfed the damage resistance. Holy shit, they nerfed it a lot. I think that's to compensate for the fact that the spy takes 20% less damage just from being cloaked now. So it says it reduces damage by 65%, but it's 65% plus the 20%. But it is still a nerf to the damage resistance. So you're a little less tanky, but you get the speed boost, which I think will compensate more than... I think it's an overall buff. The speed boost can be really nice to get out of there. I mean, you can use it for other reasons too. You can purposely take fall damage with it to like run somewhere faster. You can use it to actually get this like a little mobility boost, which is kind of cool. Feign Death Stealth has no bump shimmer for 3 seconds. 3 seconds after triggering Feign Death, the spy is under normal invisible conditions. So I'm not sure if this 65 includes the 20% while invisible or not. If it doesn't, then it's still like whatever. I don't know. So you can no longer pick up ammo for Cloak Meter while cloaked. So you have to be uncloaked before you can pick up the cloak. Cool. So Spy got changed a lot. Cloak and Dagger, Dead Ringer got really changed. And then a lot of just general robust to Spy, I feel, which I like. What I would really like them to do is, fix face stabs and all that bullshit. But I think that's outside the scope of what they can do at this point. Okay. I don't want to go too long in this video. It's already like 20 minutes in, Jesus. But we'll go down here. Energy got a lot of stuff done. So construction boosts from multiple sources is now additive instead of multiplicative. So that means basically it makes it better. Like when you're hitting, it basically makes it better. Like if multiple NGs are hitting something. So you can see like right here, the building is now built 2.5 times faster instead of just 2 times. So it's a buff. This stuff will build faster, and the teleporters and dispensers redeploy faster. Building pickup speed penalty is reduced. So buffs to NG all around. It looks like on wrench equipped change, buildings no longer self-destruct unless the building type is changed. That's very good because it was really annoying when you switched from like regular wrench to Southern Hospitality and all your buildings blew up. So that's nice. Building repair cost is increased from 20 to 30. To repair 100 HP. So now you heal more HP for like a larger metal amount, and so it's less efficient. It's 3 HP per medal instead of 5 HP. So you heal less per medal. I think this makes the Rescue Ranger even more required, which I don't like. But who can say? So level 2 and level 3 sentries have less passive damage resistance against the heavy miniguns. I didn't even know they had damage resistance, to be honest. I didn't even know they had this, to be honest. So that got decreased to the heavies a little bit better against sentry guns. Mini sentries. Mini sentries got changed quite a bit. They can now be repaired, and they can now be boosted by wrench construction. But their base speed has been decreased. So now if you just put a mini down and leave it, it will build slower than it did before. But if you actually start hitting it, it builds faster. So mini sentries start at 50 health in construction and gain health during construction instead of starting at 100%. Very good. That means that if an NG just puts down a mini sentry in the middle of nowhere and it gets hit by a rocket, it's just gone. I like that because I feel like NG should get punished for just spamming sentries, and I think this is a good way to do it. And then also you don't get metal from the pieces that come off the mini sentry when it explodes anymore. Pumps in 600, the Uber drain and the Cloak drain is now decreased over distance. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of obnoxious, when you get hit by a random shot across the map and lose 10% of your Uber, and now it'll not be as severe. Wrangler got nerfed, which I love. The Wrangler's fucking bullshit. I hate it. The way it was, at least. I think it was so fucking stupid how good it was. So I'm glad that it's going to be nerfed some. So ammo and repair given to a shield sentry is reduced by the strength of the shield to 66%. So no longer can NGs keep a gun wrangled and heal it and keep it wrangled and heal it, because they cannot... I mean, they can heal it, but they can't heal it like crazy amounts anymore. Like, your damage is still going to be effective, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's just you're going to have to do a lot more damage overall. So Engineer Death keeps the Wrangled Sentry shielded and disabled for 3 seconds, same as when the Wrangler switched away. Previously, Engineer's Death caused disable state for only 1 second. So another little bit of a nerf, because if the NG dies, then they have more time, basically, to deal with the gun. Jay got buffed. So when you hit something with a wrench, it builds 2.5 times faster. When you hit it with a Jag, it's 2.95 times faster. Not super significant, but it has a 15% swing speed. And it repairs less. So, I mean, it's like, this is more for, like, I kind of envision this as, this is the thing you use if you want to, like, play mini-sentry engineer, but not use mini-sentries. If you want to, like, put up aggressive, like, regular sentries and stuff, I feel like the Jag is going to be worthwhile now. Short circuit, I like it. There's a 0.5 second cooldown between attempts of destroying projectiles, which I like, because I think it's bullshit that an NG can just sit on his dispenser and literally shoot every rocket from an entire team of soldiers. Like, that's fucking stupid, so I'm glad that that's in. And you can now pick up buildings while a short circuit is deployed. Also pretty cool. Eureka effect got changed. Previous penalties have been removed and replaced with the following. Construction hit speed boost decreased by 50%. And you get 50% less metal from pickups and dispensers. So, stuff builds slower and you get less metal, basically. But it's no longer... You still upgrade at normal speed, which I think is important, because before it was kind of like, sure, you can make stuff, but it takes so long to upgrade it. It's like, why does it even fucking matter? Scout got a lot of changes. Babyface Blaster got nerfed. It was a pretty good gun. I never thought it was really that good, because, like, if you miss one shot with a Babyface's Blaster, it's a really big deal, because it's like if you consider your clip as 4 shots and you can only get those 4 shots off, you miss one shot of that, that's 25% of your damage potential gone. Just up in smoke. Kind of a lot. So, Babyface Blaster, you lose boost when you take damage, and you lose more boost when you do a double jump, basically, now. So, it's just easier to lose the boost. Shortstop no longer uses secondary ammo and uses primary ammo, which is good, because you can also use a pistol with a shortstop now if you want, for some reason. And then, healing and knockback passives are only active when the weapon is deployed. So, there's that. Little bit of a, I would say overall, a nerf, almost. I don't know. I think the shortstop, I think they nerfed it a little bit too hard when they nerfed it at first. I think they should increase the reload speed a little bit closer back to where it was when it came out, personally. But, pocket pistol got nerfed into the ground, basically a piece of shit now. So, the passive effects are only active when the weapon's deployed. So before this used to give you 15 max health, now it doesn't. Now what happens is when you hit somebody with it, you get plus 3 health per hit. And you get 20% damage vulnerability. Really bad. Because, for example, if you want to gain health as Scout, that means you're hurt. And if you're hurt, you really don't want to have plus 20% damage, because Scouts are pretty squishy, right? So if you're a Scout with 100 HP and you're thinking, I'm going to shoot somebody and gain some health, you take 20% damage vulnerability, and now it's like, my god, you don't even have that much HP anymore. You know, you can get killed so easily by like a stray rocket or something at that point. Not to mention that it shoots slower anyway, so it's hard to even get the health. Like, you hit somebody with the full clip, it takes forever to fucking shoot it all, and what are you going to get, like 40 health or something? It's just not worth it. It's a pretty shitty gun at this point. Fan of War got buffed, so the damage penalty was reduced from 98% to 75%, and now it crits whenever it would mini crit, so you can actually kill people with this now. Kind of interesting. It might be interesting to see how that plays out. I usually only use the Fan of War in MVM if I ever do it, because it's really good there. Soldier got quite a few things done. So the airstrike lost the clip penalty, reduced the radius penalty, reduced the damage penalty, and the rocket jump blast damage reduction is reduced. So you take more damage when you're rocket jumping, but overall the damage of it has been increased a lot, which I like, because I think the main problem with this thing is that you would get all these rockets built up and you shoot off 8 rockets, but all the rockets are just such shit, because they have no radius explosion, they have very little, they have such reduced damage, it's just not worth it. Now I think I can see this actually being used a little bit, which is cool. Equalizer and Escape Plan, now you can actually be healed with these, but it's a 90% healing penalty, kind of like the back scratcher from Pyro. Black Box, so you instead of 15 health per hit, you get 20 health, but like it's based on the damage you can do, right? So for example, here's an example. If you do 45 damage, you get plus 10 health on a hit. So if you, and it caps out at 20. So, I mean, basically, if you do 90 damage on an attack or more, you get 20 health back. But if you do less than that, it's like the ratio. So if you do half as much as 90, which is 45, you get half as much health back, and so on and so forth. A nerf, definitely a nerf to the Black Box. I'm not sure where they nerf it. I think it's not very good. I think it's all right. It depends on how you play, I think. I think in Highlander, it's going... I still think it's worse. Like, I mean, it's so often that you don't hit for 90 damage. Like, I mean, for this to be better now, you have to basically do like 75 damage or whatever. No, not 75. Like 67.5 damage. Is that the right number? I think that's the right number. You have to do like 67.5 damage on a rocket to get the same amount of healing as you used to get before. And you don't always do that much. And then as well, like before, if you hit 3 people with a rocket, you got 45 health. Now you don't get that much. I don't know, it just feels like it's worse. Liberty Launcher has plus 25% clip size now, so you have 5 rockets. Still don't think it's good. You're sacrificing damage on a class that really needs damage to kill people. Whenever you sacrifice damage on a class that is slow and like does big chunks of damage, it really hurts them. So like when you take away damage from Demoman and Soldier, it really hurts them. So I think sacrificing damage on them is a big no, for me at least. Battalion's backup, fixing an issue that is just fixing a bug that caused rocket jumps to be less. Okay, cool. Demoman. A lot of buffs to Demo Knight in this patch, which is cool, I guess. As far as I'm concerned, Demo Knight needs to be buffed a lot because it'll probably never happen that they'll construct a shield that's even close to as good as the Sticky Bomb Launcher, but whatever. They can try. Tide Turner no longer is a piece of shit. Basically, self-damage and fall damage no longer decrease the charge, and they reduce the amount of charge taken away on damage from 3 to 1 per point of damage. So basically before, when you were playing Demoman and you had the Tide Turner, you got hit, you just instantly stopped the charge. Now you can at least take a little bit of damage before it stops. So it's definitely better, definitely a buff to that, which is good because I think they over-nerfed it. Bootlegger is better now. You get plus 10 movement speed bonus just from having it, which is really good because Demoman is slower than most other classes. So it was really hard as a demo knight to catch up to them when you're using the wee booties. And when you're using the wee booties, you don't have a grenade launcher. You have to, like, chase them down and hit them with melee. So I think this is a very much... It makes sense, for sure. And then you get 25 charge on charge kills. So it used to get 25 charge on charge kill to 25 charge on melee kill. So you get charge even if you're not charging. Which is cool. Claymore, they changed this as well. You get 25 charge on charge kill, 25 charge on melee kill. Same thing. Lock and load. This is what I was referring to at the beginning. I don't know who the fuck plays Demoman or how they decide what to do to Demoman, but they're stupid. Pretty much. They don't know what they're doing. So the lock and load's 20% damage bonus was changed to plus 20% damage against building. So, I mean, I already didn't like the lock and load. As far as I'm concerned now, it's absolute shit. I would rather use anything else. I would rather use the wee booties, especially because they were buffed. You know, I would rather use the wee booties with a sticky bomb launcher now than the lock and load with a sticky bomb launcher. Easy. Like, I mean, I don't think you can convince me otherwise right now. The lock and load. What are you gaining for using the lock and load instead of the grenade launcher? You're gaining slightly faster travel time of the projectiles. Oh, what's that? That's it? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did you think I was going to say more? Sorry, that's it. That's all you're getting. You're getting faster projectiles. And what are you sacrificing for that? You're sacrificing one extra grenade in your clip. You're sacrificing extra explosion radius. You're sacrificing rollies rolling on the ground after if you miss. I mean, is that worth it? No, it's not. For just slightly faster move speed and the occasional chance to do more damage to buildings. Like, Demoman doesn't need help killing buildings, guys. Like, he doesn't need the help. He fucking destroys buildings. That's like his thing. He's called a Demoman. He's a demolitions man. He demolishes things. He has sticky bombs. He fucking just nukes the shit out of shit. He doesn't need your fucking stupid plus 20% damage bonus against buildings. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you just take that off. It's useless. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this, but the lock and load, I mean, everybody likes to think it's overpowered for some reason. I don't know why, because it wasn't. When they changed it so it wasn't able to one-shot 125 HP classes, it got nerfed. And now it's basically just shit. I sincerely hope that they fix this ASAP, because this weapon is just useless. It's just useless, you know. It's as useless as the medic melee used to be until the Solemn Vow got nerfed, because the Solemn Vow did get nerfed in this patch, or will get nerfed. It's not out yet, but the Solemn Vow did get nerfed. I mean, like before, there's no reason to use the regular melee, because you could use a Solemn Vow, which is just as good, but it has extra benefits. That's kind of how I feel about this. Anyway, I don't know what that's there. Iron Bomber, remove damage penalty and self-detonate, which is kind of cool. And the radius penalty got reduced as well. So, I don't know, a little bit of a buff. Still don't like it. I still like regular grenades better for sure. But I mean, even this is better than the lock and load. You gotta admit that, practically. Jesus. Quickie bomb launcher. So the more you charge, the more damage it does. And again, they don't give that much info on it. Is like the no charge damage the same as regular sticky damage? Or right now, the Quickie Bomb Launcher has, like, let's say, 100 damage on a sticky. Just for example, I forget exactly how much. I haven't used it a whole lot. So let's say it does 100 damage. So does that mean that, like, as you charge it, it starts at 100 and then goes up to, like, 120? Is that the deal? Or does it start at 80 and go up to 120, so it's kind of starts off weaker and gets stronger? You know? It's not exactly said. So I think this is difficult to interpret right now. But I'll try and figure it out and come back again with another video where I can explain these things better. Willful Caber, base damage was reduced from 100 to 75. And then the damage ramp up bonus for close range attacks, and that's the same as other explosive weapons. So what this basically means is that you do less damage on the explosion, but before, the fucking Caber was so dumb because, like, what would happen so often is you would hit somebody with it, but they were so far away that the explosion, like, would hardly reach them, and it would do, like, very little damage. Now, it does less, just overall, it does less damage, like, absolute, but if you get, like, those kind of close range hits, it's still better. So overall, I think this is a buff, at least in my eyes, because I mean, I don't think the Cape was that competitive of a weapon, but I mean, it was just so frustrating when I would just fuck around with it and I'd hit somebody, but because I hit them weird, like it would do no damage. It's just bullshit. Anyway, Pyro got a lot of changes to the flare guns, basically, is all. They added a bunch of text to it to explain it properly for the flare gun detonator. Scorch shot damage penalty got reduced, which is good, does more damage. Knockback is increased on burning targets, increased the blast radius of the flares, and the hits and explosions always mini crit burning targets. So Scorch shot, quite big buffs, which I like. I like the Scorch shot. It's a fun weapon. I'm going to use it more now. I still don't think it's as good. Definitely not as good as the Reserve Shooter. Reserve Shooter is still just disgusting. But I think it's better. It's definitely better. I don't know why I said I think it's just better. Detonator basically got better in some ways. Blast radius is better. You can jump higher, and the explosion is now mini crit. But I mean, you take more self damage from it, and it does less damage. But I think because it does less damage, I think that kind of cancels out the increased self damage, you know. But a little bit nerf in the damage department for sure. Medic. Vaccinator is basically the only thing. Oh, the Salmo got nerfed with a 10% attack speed penalty. So, I mean, I could see this kind of getting used, but I think that's going to kind of hurt this a lot. Anyway, Vaccinator, they fixed a bug that caused it to give full crit immunity. I thought that was actually supposed to be there, but apparently it's a bug. Go figure. I think they should have just made it a feature because I don't think the Vaccinator is good enough as it is. Vaccinator, brace resist does not grant any crit resistance, so crit will still kick your ass. Vaccinator Uber deploys now always take exactly 1 bar of Uber charge. And then Vaccinator Uber deploys, give the patient a 2.5 second bubble of 75 damage resistance of the current resist type and full crit resistance to that type. Oh, so it still does give the crit immunity, okay. These do not disappear after medic steps. Oh, so like the bubbles around them stay, basically. Interesting. That's cool. Vaccinator Uber now serves the same penalties as the miniguns when it comes to multiple medics on the same target and max overheal patients. Cool. Decrease the bonus healing a medic receive for properly selecting the right damage resistant type from 25% of incoming damage to 10%. And then added a penalty of 66% decreased Uber build charge rate while healing an overcharge patient. So it really doesn't want you to pocket people. It seems like they're really encouraging you to heal multiple people with this now, considering the Uber bubbles stay when you switch targets. And as well, when you're healing somebody who's fully overhealed, the Uber build rate gets drastically reduced. They really are encouraging you to go around and heal more people with this, which is cool. Sniper. Sydney's Sleeper now always applies a Drawdy effect, but it scales with how long you charge it. Pretty cool, I guess. Bizarre Bargain. You no longer lose heads when you miss, but to gain a head, you have to actually get a kill with a headshot. Each head boosts the charge rate by 25%, now up to 200%, but the charge rate penalty initially starts, it goes from minus 20% to minus 50%. So it charges really, really slowly at first, but after 2 headshot kills, it's back to normal, and then it starts to ramp up very quickly, and you don't lose the heads anymore. So if you can actually stay alive and, get 4 or 5 heads, this thing becomes all of a sudden crazy good. I'm going to highly consider using this now. Like, if you are a sniper and you can stay alive for a decent amount of time, this is amazing. Very good. So I think that's definitely a buff to it. Bushwhacker got nerf buffed. It's hard to say. So you used to always have 25% fire vulnerability while you had it. Now you have a 20% damage vulnerability, but it's only while it's equipped. So if you don't have it equipped, you don't have any damage vulnerabilities. So, depends on how you use it. If you use it carefully, it's definitely a buff. If you don't use it carefully and you take your Bushwhacker out and you get shot a bunch, it's going to hurt you a lot. Heavy changes. Heavy, basically all of his miniguns except the default one got buffed, which I think is good because the default one has for so long been by far the dominant one for good reason. So the minigun damage penalty was reduced on buildings that was mentioned with the NGs up top. So Natasha, when you're spun up, you get 20% damage resistance, which is quite nice, and the stun amount has a fall off. So as you go farther, the slowing shit starts decreasing. Obviously a buff, I think. I mean, this part is kind of bad, I think, but 20% damage resistance is quite large when you're considering the heavy. I mean, 20% damage resistance on the heavy increases his effective HP up to 360. And while overheal, that increases it up to 540, which is very good. And, I mean, it's enough to survive. When he's fully overhealed, he can survive a headshot from a fully charged sniper rifle, which is quite good. Brass Beast has a 20% damage resistance. I was having a discussion earlier with people. I think that this change is enough to push the Brass Beast over the edge to the point where it's actually quite good. Because the biggest issue with the Brass Beast was that in order to really use it effectively, because you were so slow, you had to put yourself in a position where you could easily shoot a lot of people, but that exposed you a lot and you couldn't dodge because you were so slow. Now you have the damage resistance, so as long as you watch out for snipers and spies, you can take a ton of punishment. You just put yourself in a good spot, you take the damage, but meanwhile you're dishing out just this incredible damage with the Brass Beast, and I think it could actually be really good now, especially if you're getting healed. I mean, I'm just imagining this with a vaccinator medic that knows what he's doing, and it's like the heavy is going to take so little damage. Tomislav is 20% more accurate and has increased spin up time. The spin up time is even faster. Good, because I mean the Tomislav shoots slower, so if you make it more accurate, that means you can essentially make more shots hit, and so it kind of bumps the damage back up. So I think the Tomislav is going to be pretty good now. It's going to be a much more of a kind of a mid-range heavy gun. And I think it could actually be a little worthwhile to use now. Family Business has increased attack speed, which is good, I think, because it was kind of shitty. Because it did less damage. Warrior Spirit gives you 10 health on hit. I still don't think it's good because the Warrior Spirit reduces your max HP. That really bugs me. Don't think it's worth it still, personally. But, and who the hell melees is heavy anyway? It's really hard. Because you're so slow. Eviction, but speaking of that, Eviction notice when you punch somebody you get a speed boost, so this kind of helps you keep up to speed with people, which is kind of cool. Still, again, who the hell melees is heavy, right? I mean, the melee about heavy is all about utility. You know, you run the Fist of Steel so you can run around and not worry about getting headshot all the time. You use the Gru that goes running urgently so you can run faster. You know, those are still the top two for sure. The Deluxe Bar got a buff finally because this used to be shit. So you get it has a 10-second cooldown use, but you can now overheal up to 400 HP, which is really nice. And it can be thrown as a small medkit for other players you use. Pretty good, especially when you consider like this with something like the Brass Beast. If you have this with the Brass Beast, all of a sudden your effective HP is over 450 HP, which is pretty good. And that's without a medic. So, and then they updated descriptions to note that it can be thrown. And the Panic Attack got buffs basically as far as I could tell. So the base fire rate was increased, the base reload speed was increased, and they increased the switch speed. So it takes longer to switch to it, but it's basically better in other respects in terms of fire and reload speed. So that's basically it. I think I was expecting it to be much worse when I heard there'd be changes. I thought a lot of them would be really stupid. Really, the main stupid ones I can see, the main one I think is that lock and load change. Everything else I think is reasonable, and can be argued for. So overall, I am very pleased with this update. A lot of new maps. It's not just cosmetic fluff. You know, you get a lot of new maps. You have the cosmetics for the people who like it, and it's interesting. It's not just more hats. You know, it's an entirely new set of cosmetic item going around. Very cool. And then yeah, I think a lot of the buffs. I think a lot of the stuff they did with the items is pretty good. And I mean, the pocket pistol, I don't agree with nerfing it that hard. The lock and load is dumb as shit. Block box, I don't know why they nerfed it. These are all pretty cool otherwise, I think. Flare guns are cool. Vaccinator is interesting. Oh, I think they should have nerfed the Darwin's Danger Shield, like, definitely. That thing is still fucking stupid. So I hope in the next patch, I hope when the competitive patch comes out they nerf it, because if they don't nerf it, every sniper in the competitive mode is going to be running fucking Darwin's Danger Shield, because it's super OP. I really hope they nerf that. I mean, other than that, maybe nerf reserve shooter a little bit on Pyro. I think it's still pretty bullshit. But other than that, I think everything is pretty good. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased. This is one of the better updates I've seen in a long time. I've kind of just, in my mind, given up on TF2 updates, and that's not to mean that I've given up on the game. I love the game for sure. It's just I've given up on them making like a meaningful update for me, which is fine because I still like the game in its current state. But I mean, they're doing this stuff and it's pretty cool so far. I haven't read the comic yet. I'm not going to bother reading it in this video. I've already gone for a really long time. So yeah, a little bit of cosmetic stuff for those of you who like it. I mean, it's $6 for the stupid coin. I'll probably get it just for the sake of getting it, and we'll see how it turns out. And then new maps I'm going to like very much. I'm going to probably make a videos on all these new maps and discuss the new weapons. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I will try and use a lot of the new weapon changes and illustrate them on these new maps, and I'll make that that'll probably be my next couple series of videos, because if I recall, this new update is supposed to come out quite soon, so I'm looking forward to it. I really wanna try and run the kunai and the dead ring and the cloak and dagger now and see how they all work. Engineer I've never really liked that much, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how the jag works now. I would love to do that more. Many century changes don't really interest me too much. Glad the Wrangler got nerfed. Yeah, not much else. Scout, I don't think it's going to really change me at all. I never really use any of this stuff anyway. I mean, I use the Fan of War and MVM, but that's about it. I didn't use a pocket pistol because I thought it was OP, and now it's kind of just shit, frankly. Maybe I'll try maybe use the airstrike again. I think it might not be too bad now. But yeah. I think playing Demonite's going to be super fun now. I think it's going to be a lot more interesting. These are definitely all a lot of cool buffs. I think Demonite needed it because Demonite's frankly a joke in the current state. Not effective at all. Unless you're playing as idiots, in which case everything's effective, so why are you even making the argument? You know? Lock and load. I wasn't using it before, I'm not going to use it now. Definitely more interested in using the Scorch Shot. I could use a detonator too. I just haven't practiced with the detonator, so I'm pretty shitty. Sorry, that would probably hurt my chair. It's very squeaky. Vaccinator is interesting. I mean, I don't like it. The Vaccinator, it's not really my thing. I think that I might try it though, just to see how well it works. Definitely gonna try the Bazaar Bar again. This seems crazy good now, especially because before. I mean, I tend to miss a lot because a lot of times I'll take very complicated shots. But now that you don't have the penalty for missing, I mean, once you get 2 kills, you're back to normal, and then it only gets better from there. So, it seems pretty good. Heavy, I mean, Brass Beast and Tomislav I really want to try out. And also probably the Deluxe Bar a little bit. I'm not so interested in Natasha still. I might try it a little bit, but I'm not super interested. But that's kind of what I'm interested in. So, I don't know. I'm interested in what you guys think. If you agree with what I was talking about, you know, what's your favorite part? Are you most excited about the maps? Most excited about the cosmetics? Most excited about the gameplay changes? You know, what map looks coolest to you? What gameplay change do you like the most? Which one do you like the least? For some reason, people think the lock and load is super OP. My greatest fear with the lock and load nerf now is that people will use the fact that they nerfed the lock and load to argue that it was OP before, you know? They'll be like, oh, they nerfed it, so it was obviously OP before. And it's like, it wasn't OP before. Everybody who's saying that just doesn't know how to play the game. Like, I'm sorry. If you think that, you don't know how to play the game. Like, I mean, you're probably a decent player, but you don't understand, like, how to play it at a high level. And, you know, that's fine. Not everybody's going to. Not enough people, you don't have enough time to sink into the game to understand it at a high level. Or you might be too young to really comprehend it fully. But yeah, it wasn't overpowered before. Like, I mean, you could argue there's some situations where it was pretty good, but there were a lot of situations where it definitely was not very good, and I personally just did not think it was very good. I mean, you can argue with me, but if you want, but at this point it's kind of a moot point because it's obviously been nerfed into the ground and is no longer worthwhile, and I don't think anybody can really argue that in any way. Like, what are you going to do? You got, oh, I can kill a gun easily. Just use the direct hit, man. It's so much easier to hit with a direct hit because it shoots perfectly straight, and it does just as much damage to sentries because when you do damage to sentry guns, it doesn't have damage fall off. The main reason why the direct hit is balanced is because it has damage fall off. And so, but against guns, it doesn't have it, so it just fucking destroys guns. Like, there's no, and so there's no reason to really have a Demoman do it with the lock and load when you could have a soldier do it with a direct hit. It's basically better. Look, the only reason it wouldn't be better is if for some reason you specifically had to arc the shots. And then in that case, it'd be nice to have the lock and the lock and load because you can arc them over rocks and shit. But anyway, wow, I was not expecting this to take like an hour. But I mean, it seriously is like, you know, you make a couple changes, like something as simple as, you know, like what's a simple change? Like adding 20% damage resistance. This could change everything about heavy. Like all of a sudden the Brass Beast might be the best minigun. For something as simple as that. And like, how do you evaluate that that's going to be the case? I mean, TF2 is a very complicated game because of all the weapons and all the interactions. So like when you make this many changes, like you could spend hours discussing the possible ramifications of them. But I'm not going to get into that yet, especially because not all the information is here. And you know, discussing stuff in a vacuum is never the ideal way to do things. It's always good to kind of have hard data to back it up and actual like experience. But yeah. Also achievements. I don't know if I mentioned those. I don't care for achievements. I used to have almost all the TF2 achievements. Then they always release, like, whenever the new maps come out, they release stupid ones that are specific to that map, like with the Foundry update, and I don't give a fuck, because Foundry is a decent map, but I don't like it enough to get all those stupid achievements, so I kind of just gave up. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I am curious about what you guys think. I like it, personally. And I hope that the competitive update comes before the end of the summer, and we can, you know, have a couple weeks during the summer where everybody can have some fun, play some competitive TF2 with all these new gameplay changes, and yeah. Oh, one thing I should mention, it's not made super clear, but it says GunMettle gameplay changes. I was talking with some people, and they said that this might mean that these gameplay changes are only meant for the special maps for the GunMettle campaign, but I think it's for the entire game, personally. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be. They haven't done anything like that before. Seems silly, but oh well. Anyway, I am done. I'm so fucking tired, guys. I recorded this. By the way, I'm on a sixes team now. I wasn't planning to do any competitive over this summer, but I got wrangled into a sixes team, and I might try and sub for a gold Highlander team. Just to get some little bit of gold experience for funsies. But yeah, we basically had a scrim, and then I looked at the patch notes and I was like, my god, this is fucking with my brain. And then I recorded this video, and now it's super late and I'm super tired because I haven't gotten sleep because I'm working a lot, and my god, man. Like, I've literally had my eyes closed for the past 10 minutes. I'm not even joking, because my eyes are just, like, I can't keep them open. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'm going to go the fuck to sleep. In the words of, who's the guy who made that book? Go the fuck to sleep. It's not Morgan Freeman. I keep thinking Morgan Freeman, but it's not Morgan Freeman. Some other black man. Fuck. It's not Kevin Hart, is it? It's somebody else like that, though. It's a black comedian, and I can't remember his name. But whatever. Fuck it. Alright, I'm super done, though, for real. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will make a video with all the fancy new, illustrating all the fancy new game changes and checking out some of those new maps when they come out. Hopefully this weekend, so I will see you guys then.